I recently had the joy of meeting one of those people. It was a group in a resistance group in the days of Hitler called the White Roses. And he was one of 9. The other 7 got their heads cut off. So I had the total joy of talking with him to find out what goes on to somebody that doesn't buy the story. The game of life, the most wonderful game, is serving life for everybody, not just for some people. So he got exposed to a different story from his parents. One of my greatest joys in my life, I get a lot of joys, but one of my favorite is talking to people like that all over the planet who don't buy into the story. They've never gone there. How did you escape? What gifts did you get exposed to so you didn't have to spend as much time with those pain-creating stories? See, I get to ask that of a lot of people like that all over the world. It's a fun thing to do.
You said story immunization?
Yeah, it's a kind of a cultural immunization to prepare you for the structure, to maintain the structures of those cultures. So if you're going to live under a king, you have to teach the story of obedience to authority. And now we've evolved. Now we live under an oligarchy, not a king, but it's the same basic game. It's just now we have unseen kings.
Do these people you talk to tell you that basically the same thing, that the way that they were able to resist?
I ask them this question. Could you tell me one thing that somebody did that helped you stay conscious at another level, that helped you see another world than the one everybody around you was being exposed to? So I asked this of a woman from Somalia who had been through such horror in her life, I could not believe that anybody could survive it emotionally. And yet I saw how loving and powerful she was. And we were sitting in front of a fire in London, or Birmingham, England, and I said, could you tell me one gift you got from somebody that helped you to keep the consciousness you have rather than getting caught up in the craziness? She thought for a moment. My father. Yeah, what did he do? What did he do to help you? What kind of education did he provide? She thought for a moment. Well, Marshall, every day we were 4 kilometers from the village where we had to go for water. So every day he would ask me to go with him. So was that it, that he wanted your company? No, that really wasn't it. On the way into town, no matter how many people we passed, he would stop and talk to every one of them. Oh, so that was it, that he had this much respect for people. And then she thought for a moment and said, no, because that wasn't that different in our culture. And then she started to cry, so I knew she was getting at it, because when you think of these gifts that we got that helped you get out of that crap, it's beautiful. So I said, what did he do? She said, Marshall, it was the way he looked at people when they talked. There was nothing he did, but in my jargon, presence. He gave people presence, you see, his full attention. That's the number one thing people tell me they got from their parents, presence. That showed them a whole different concept of what human beings are about. I heard that from my colleague Fatih, who's a principal of a giraffe school in Bethlehem, in a refugee camp where we have a giraffe school. I asked him this because, again, he's been through so much pain and suffering. I said, Fatih, what gift did you get? He said, no matter what was happening in the streets, no matter what pain I came into the house with, I knew my parents would just listen. See, when you have that, you see a whole different idea of what makes life wonderful. You feel what makes life wonderful is this kind of presence. It's not punishing people. So they got exposed to the good stuff. When you get exposed to the good stuff, you can see through the crap. What better way to show love than with this presence? So if we see that and we feel it on both ends, how good it feels to be the other person, how good it feels to do it, why would we play the other games? So we only play the other games because we've been educated to play the other games and we haven't been educated to do the fun ones.